The U.S. faces an illegal immigration crisis. Will President Biden fix it by finishing what Trump started? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. This episode is sponsored by Incogni. You probably know that companies are collecting your personal data, but you may not realize just how many. Dozens, maybe hundreds, most of which you've never heard of, and you have no idea what they're doing with your data. Incogni helps you stop them. I'll explain more at the end. So, like most politicians, President Joe Biden has broken a few campaign promises. Like that one time he promised that the United States would exit Afghanistan responsibly, deliberately, and safely? Or that other time that he said he didn't think vaccines should be mandatory? Classic. Or that time when he said this:
"There will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration."
As it turns out, that didn't age so well. Earlier in his presidency, Biden stopped all border wall construction paid for with military funds and canceled border wall contracts. But like every politician, Biden changed his tune when things went south. Or shall I say, north? Because now the Biden administration is resuming construction of the border wall. As a matter of fact, the plan to fill gaps in the border wall has been under construction for a while now. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas announced last December that the DHS planned to close some gaps in the border wall. And Biden gave it the go-ahead in July. So now we're seeing plans to fill gaps in the wall in California and Arizona, with construction preparations already starting in some places. According to The Intercept, U.S. Customs and Border Protection confirmed that work on the border wall that began under Trump is revving back up under Biden. Starting next month, contractors will return to the Sonoran Desert in Arizona to resume work on the wall. This includes the Tucson sector, the Border Patrol's largest area of operations and site of Trump's most dramatic and controversial border wall construction. The Biden administration is also plugging holes in places like Yuma, the third busiest border crossing. Those gaps were left when Biden stopped border wall construction in 2021. And there are some big gaps in the wall in Yuma, like this one, which could explain why it's such a popular border crossing. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey is trying to get the jump on the Biden administration by plugging these gaps with shipping containers. Yes, shipping containers. It's kind of like when you run out of Legos and you have to start digging into your little sister's Duplos instead. That'll stop people from crossing the border. So, another campaign promise broken by Biden. But wait. According to PolitiFact and the White House, Biden is not actually resuming building the hundreds of miles of border wall promised by Trump. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is planning repair work on the existing border wall, including closing gaps, cleaning up work sites, and stabilizing eroding areas. But this work is not indicative of Biden's effort to resume building Trump's wall. So it's not building new walls, just filling in the gaps with new walls. Though in the White House's words, that's called cleaning up Trump's mess.
Why is the Biden administration building a border wall in Arizona?
So we're not finishing the wall. We are cleaning up the mess the prior administration left behind in their failed attempt to build a wall.
Yeah, know the difference? So why now? What changed? Well, I'll tell you after the break. Welcome back. Why is Biden resuming construction on the border wall now? Throughout his presidency, President Biden has been facing a huge illegal immigration crisis. Wave after wave after wave, and it has never stopped coming. I mean, let's face it, the situation at the border is bad. Border Patrol apprehension under Biden has already shattered records, as they're on pace to reach 2 million in a fiscal year for the first time ever. If you look at encounters and not apprehensions, that's already shattered records too, at more than 2.4 million. According to border officials, daily encounters are hitting 8,000 in some cases, an all-time record. Meanwhile, Homeland Security estimates this year there have been more than 500,000 gotaways. Those are people who have evaded any contact with Border Patrol. And how many people who actually get apprehended by Border Control are expelled? According to government numbers last month, about a third of the migrants encountered at the border were expelled under Title 42, the COVID public health policy. But a growing number of the migrants have been exercising their legal right to avoid deportation via humanitarian claims, which means they could stay in the U.S. for months or years while waiting for their cases to be judged. There are U.S. border cities so overwhelmed that they're looking like third world countries. Though, to be fair, even parts of New York City look like a third world country. But this is a dangerous situation for migrants crossing the border. According to a UN study, the U.S.-Mexico border has been labeled the world's deadliest land crossing route thanks to the historic number of deaths last year. And it's only getting deadlier with close to 800 dying this year. Many migrants, including infants and children, are dying from drowning and dehydration. Their deaths are overwhelming border town morgues.
You'll be walking in an area where the water will never go above your knee. But all of a sudden, you'll have a drop of about 10, 12 feet. If you're carrying a baby, you're going to go down 10, 12 feet with that baby. We had babies not too long ago drown.
It's gotten to the point where border towns are now asking for more refrigerators to store bodies. You know what? I think it's time for an America Uncovered mental health break. Here are some puppies. That's better. Anyway, the point is that the border situation is worse than ever. One way the Biden administration tried to address it was by spending $4 billion to address the root causes of migration in Central America last year. Is that helping? Well, the plan was to give $4 billion over 4 years to Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. Meanwhile, the current migrant wave is mostly from Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. Some Republicans are even blaming Biden for the deaths because of an open border policy. They're basically saying to Biden, if you don't build it, they will come. Now, to be fair, the Biden administration isn't exactly a model for open borders. It's been increasing border deportations and prosecutions to deter migration, including migrant families traveling with children. In fact, Biden's been accused of turning his back on migrants, like when the administration flew Haitian migrants back to Haiti. Not to say his policies are perfect, but it seems no matter what Biden does, Republicans and Democrats will both keep finding ways to use the crisis as a way to score political points. So what is the Biden administration to do, other than blame Trump for the border problems? Biden doesn't want to be painted as doing Trump's work by filling in the border wall. The Biden administration wants to present its policies as humane. That's why he's framing the construction as a matter of safety. According to the Department of Homeland Security, these measures are to address urgent life, safety, environmental, or other remediation required to protect border communities. There are a lot of risks, such as loose rocks and boulders sliding down the mountainsides. Many people are also at risk of drowning and sustaining injuries while crossing bodies of water like the Colorado River near the Yuma Morelos Dam. Still, many are criticizing Biden for continuing wall construction. And others are accusing Biden of filling gaps in the wall for political reasons. They're calling it an act of desperation designed to prop up Democratic incumbent Mark Kelly in his Arizona Senate race. And Senator Kelly is more than happy to take credit for filling the border gaps. Meanwhile, others blame Republican lawsuits and obstruction for forcing Biden to spend money on building a wall. The Biden administration has been sued for not spending money Congress already set aside for the wall, which some say has led the administration to spend some of the money on environmental impact assessments as a way to continue spending the funds Congress appointed under Trump. That's government for you. They don't want to spend all that money, but they have to. All this means that Democrats are angry that the Biden administration is building any wall, while Republicans are accusing Biden of stalling on the wall. Sure glad we're all coming up with solutions to fix the problem. And this episode has been sponsored by Incogni. Whenever you do anything online, there's a huge number of companies that collect your personal data, like your name, your email, your home address, and your social security number. They're collecting it to buy and sell, but they can also get hacked. Like in 2017, data on nearly 200 million US voters was accidentally leaked by a data firm contracted by the Republican National Committee. It exposed people's names, birth dates, and home addresses. And if a company like that can be hacked, so can all the smaller companies that buy and sell your data. This is why I signed up for Incogni. I discovered that there were 76 data brokers that potentially had my private information. I had never heard of most of them. Fortunately, Incogni can force these companies to delete your data. There are laws that allow you to do this yourself, but it would take a crazy amount of time and energy. Incogni handles this for you. Just a few months after signing up, Incogni had already gotten my details removed from 20 of these data brokers, with 34 more in progress. And I didn't have to do anything after signing up. So check out Incogni using the link below, or go to incogni.com/uncovered. The first 100 people to use the code UNCOVERED will get 20% off. Get your personal data off the market with Incogni. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.